I'm muted right now. I'm muted.
Larry, you're not muted.
Well, you guys were. Quick saying something to my wife, so whoops. Hey guys, good to see
Hi,
you all.
Larry. Good to see you, Larry, in your motorhome or your travel trailer. I shouldn't say that. I want people to find you. Welcome to the regular meeting, Guadalupe City Council, Tuesday, August 11th. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Acosta Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Fernez.
Here.
Councilmember Villegas.
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Yeah.
Mayor Julian.
Here. Thank you. And we have a quorum. If you will, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Right. Next item is a moment of thanks, appreciation, or condolences. Any word from any of the council members? Gene?
I'd like to send condolences to Veronica Cuca Jimenez, longtime resident here. She was killed on Sunday night in Santa Maria, the pedestrian that was hit on Battles. She left behind 2 children.
Jeez.
And all her family has been here in the community since she was small. So condolences to them.
Condolences to the family. Thank you, Jim. Item number 4, agenda review. At this time, the city council will review the order of business. Is there any council member that wishes to change the order of business? F. Okay. Item 5, community participation. Each person is limited to a discussion of 3 minutes or as directed by the mayor. Pursuant to the provisions of the Brown Act, no action may be taken on these matters unless they are listed on the agenda or unless certain emergency or special circumstances exist. The city council may direct staff to investigate and or schedule certain matters for consideration at a full council meeting, at a future council meeting. I have one individual to speak, Francis Romero.
Okay, is the mic on tonight? Awesome. Mayor Julian, council members, staff, members of the public, my name is Francis Romero, and I'm here tonight to comment on something that's not on the agenda that was supposed to be on the agenda. We were supposed to have a capital campaign update tonight from Tom Bradenbury. Regardless of the fact that the project has been put on hold for now, that should have gone forward, because my understanding is that his contract will be coming to an end and he is responsible to provide an accounting. You have people in this community that have made donations, and everybody is entitled to transparency in government, transparency for the accounting of what donations were made, what expenditures were paid out. And if you aren't aware, there is a little bit of a trust issue with the community right now based on not only the Royal Theater, but your general handling of city finances in general. As I looked at the October 2025 Royal Theater report that I assume Tom produced, there's nothing on here that says who actually wrote it. It's really an eye-opener. And I'd like to bring your attention to page 4, capital campaign status. The City Council approved this fundraising opportunity on January 14th, 2025. While it has been approved and the committee was created, quote, the work was not able to get going. Since then, the council has disbanded the committee, and it goes on to describe. This was your first symptom that you did not have adequate support to do a project. Anybody that works in the nonprofit world that does a capital campaign knows that, number one, you never announce the campaign until you've raised 50% of the money that you need. At any rate, This report was available. I mean, the loan funding was ruled out. Thank God that that decision was made. Then we get down to page 7, notes. The gap in funding does not stop the project from moving forward. However, it is essential for completing the construction of the project in whole. That total need fund gap was $2,954,000 in October of 2025, which is roughly 50% of the city's annual revenue. Now, we'll talk about it a little later today, but on page 8, the footnote 3 says, a business plan will be developed once an operator is chosen. Again, this is absolutely backward. This project was doomed for failure because of a failure to plan. It's truly a worthy project, and it is heartbreaking that there has not been more accountability and more reality.
Thank you.
Wow. You know what? And I got to say one thing, Mayor Julian, about
One thing.
public
Go ahead.
comment.
And
You've
you have
been rather
30 seconds.
You've been inconsistent and uneven-handed with how you treat me. I come in right at
You have
about,
3 minutes, ma'am. You're finished.
I understand that,
You're finished.
but you don't treat others that way.
Yes, I treat everybody that way. Honestly and fair. All right, we'll go to consent calendar. The following items are presented for the city council approval without a discussion as a single agenda item in order to expedite the meeting. Should a council member wish to discuss or to disapprove an item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion of approval and considered as a separate item. Is there a council member that wishes to pull an item under the consent calendar? Please.
I wanted to pull item C, the minutes, and item E, the purchasing and procurement guidelines.
Anybody else? Okay, the balance would be A and D. Is that correct?
D and D and D.
Well, there's an individual that wants to speak on that.
Oh, sorry.
So AD. So is there a motion to approve item A and D?
I'll motion to approve items A and D.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right. So we'll go to B, Francis Romero. Well, let me go to council first. Was there a council? Did you wish to pull?
She
D?
can go first. No,
I want
not
you to
D.
go first, if you don't mind.
I pull C and D.
Okay. All right, Ms. Romero, you're on.
Well, the warrants are an important part of every meeting. And I do believe that while it might not be standard operating procedure in other cities, I would like to suggest that perhaps the balance remaining in each of these funds be noted at the end of the report. You know, you see all of these amounts that are coming out of different funds, but apparently it's been very difficult for our council to track the use of enterprise funds as well as general fund funds. And I think that as you go, you should have that running balance. I'd like to read from the 2014-2015 grand jury summary, Guadalupe shell game must end. Clearly, Guadalupe continues to be a city in trouble caused by over 12 years of repeated financial mismanagement, improper transfers of money from restricted funds to general fund, years of deficit spending, uninquisitive and undertrained city council members, and overworked employees, many of whom had little training or background for their positions. We move on to March of 2018, yet another article where an audit reveals that there was a $684,624 deficit to the city's general fund and $280,000 and $373,333 in debt to the city's lighting, assessment fund, and water fund. These special and restricted funds are supported by ratepayers. That would be people who pay their taxes and pay their water bills. And the ratepayers, sadly, are absent from most every meeting you have. They all should be down here demanding accountability for how you spend money. And then we have the City of Guadalupe audit report from Betty T. Yee, the California State Controller, in October of 2018, regarding yet again misuse of special gas tax street improvement funds. Our audit found that the city understated the fund balance by $62,732 because it charged costs for non-street services to the fund. That is why I think that your financial people here ought to be showing you a running total of what's left in these accounts that you approve warrants for. There has to be a better way for you to track it. And lastly, for the year ending June 30, 2021, a single audit report was like your last audited financials. A deficiency in internal controls exists when the design or operation of a control does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned functions to prevent or detect or correct misstatements on a timely basis. A material weakness is a deficiency or a combination of deficiencies in the internal control such that there is a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement will be made over and over again by the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, let me just put my hat on as a member of the Friends of the Guadalupe Library. At the last meeting, we donated a check for $3,500 to go towards the rent, whether this year or next year. And it was noted that it was not included in the minutes. And it does note that I spoke. And so a couple things. One, I'd like to suggest that it be noted in the minutes tonight that the check was given. It's important to have it recorded for the Friends, for our records. And we would think for the city as well. The other thing is in talking about the community participation forum, again, I see the names, this is from the minutes of the last meeting. I see the names of those who spoke, and I think it's important, and I strongly suggest that if there's not going to be any narrative on this section of the minutes, that at least show the topic that was discussed.
Good point.
Okay, that's it.
Anybody else on C? So did anybody pull D? Nobody here? And then we'll go to E and Mrs. Romero. 6E.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I was saying, this item about purchasing and procurement guidelines is also extremely important, and it builds on the last audit that you had in 2021 that went on to say that a significant deficiency is a deficiency or combination of deficiencies in internal control that is less severe than a material weakness, yet important enough to merit attention by those charged with governance. We consider the deficiency described in the accompanying schedule of findings and questionable costs as item 2021-01 to be a material weakness. We consider the deficiency described in the accompanying schedule of findings and question cost as items 2021-002 to be a significant deficiency. This report states, according, we do not express an opinion on the effectiveness of the city's internal controls. However, you have a long record, basically 24 out of 20 of the last 27 years of misappropriating of funds, mismanagement of funds, transfers of funds to other accounts where they don't belong, raiding enterprise funds to keep the city afloat. Whether it's well-intended or not is not the issue. The issue is that it is illegal. And this is why when you end up with a need for a wastewater treatment plant upgrade, your fund balances won't support it. This is why when you have to have roads fixed, you don't have money in your roads funds. At some point, reality has to set in with the day-to-day decisions that you make on behalf of every citizen. The Royal Theater was such a miss. You cost 7 employees their jobs. Think about that. All through mismanagement and bad decision-making. Thank goodness you had the sense to pump the brakes when you were told we would have no police or fire if we continued, yet some persisted and asked, well, what else could we do? If you balance a checkbook at your house, you should be capable of balancing a checkbook for the city of Guadalupe. The people here work hard. They expect their taxes to go to the right place. And they expect the fees that we pay, and we pay a lot of fees to government. We expect them to go to the use they're intended to be at. So risking the rude timeout noise that will come from the mayor's phone. I just want to, I truly hope you'll listen. And I hope that more people at home, the keyboard warriors, will start to wake up and understand that despite their dissatisfaction with the city, staying at home and not showing up and telling you out loud that this is not acceptable, they're not doing their part either. They're not holding you accountable. And we can't wait for elections every 2 years to change the situation. You folks need to start changing the way that you manage the funds in this city. You need to be more responsible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a few questions.
Sure.
I don't know if these questions are, David, are to you or to Eli on the.
Probably more to me. I wrote it.
Okay,
so, yeah.
just some clarifications. On page 5 of the guidelines, under roles and internal control, I had a couple questions on that. One is, it shows the responsibilities of the city clerk. And if this is to be accurate, it changes the role that the city clerk is currently functioning under. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
There's another staff member that
Yeah.
picks up on the majority of this.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight that. And then under a couple under that is evaluation panel. Who and what is that? Mostly who is that?
the panel is generally, depending on what, say, like an RFP is out for.
Mhm.
It's usually like, say, for example, a public works project is an engineer. It has been myself as the public works director. And then another like expert in, say, like whatever the RFP might be for.
An outside individual?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a note here, I don't know why. On number 4, if you go down under 2.2, conflicts, gifts, that section number, or the 4th bullet point, a vendor that assisted in drafting specs or requirements may be excluded when participation would create an unfair competitive advantage. Could you give me an example of that?
So let's say an architect being on the panel to review architect.
It says a vendor that assisted in drafting specs or requirements. So
Right, so
this
like-
ties into the panel.
Right. So like, say we have like, say the Royal Theater, right? We have
Mhm.
Andrew Goodwin do our design.
Mhm.
Andrew Goodwin would be a bad person to have on the panel picking.
So this relates to the panel piece. Okay, that's all. Let's see. On the RFPs and IFBs, do we have, or if we don't have, will we have standard forms for those who are bidding?
We kind of have we have a standard.
We have
process
standard
for it.
forms? Just a general question. If 3 bids went before council and the council, for whatever valid reasons, didn't choose any of the 3, but the project had to go forward, if someone came in after the deadline, one individual, is that bid considered, or do you have to go back out for 3 bids?
We'd have to go back out.
Okay. And under procurement credit cards, 7.2, 1, 2, 3, the 3rd bullet point. Prohibited uses of the credit cards, I'm assuming, include cash advances, et cetera, alcohol absent lawful written authorization.
So I guess maybe that could apply to something for a holiday party of some sort. However,
It
we
just,
wouldn't authorize it. It's just,
it's worded weirdly.
Yeah.
It's worded weirdly, sorry. Spoonerism. Okay. Let's see. That's all. Thanks, David.
Any further questions on item B, C, or E? Go ahead.
Just for, will you make these corrections and then vote on this one again? Or how does that
Or
work?
what, set with corrections.
If there's specific correction, you can be made as part of the motion. I'm not sure what, I didn't hear any corrections except for maybe the worst of the
Question on the.
the
alcohol.
lawful and I'm not, I realize that the city clerk doesn't do all those functions, but because she's an elected official, she's technically in charge of those functions. So I'm not sure it's inappropriate to identify her as being responsible. Unless you had a specific right.
According to this, and all I was highlighting is the current city clerk has duties that don't include what's listed here. That's all I was
Oh,
trying to
I'm
say.
sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, that's all I was
I
trying to say.
misunderstood you.
But I think it would have to reflect, we would have to probably change ordinances or
No.
because it's probably like that in the ordinance.
But
But
that's-
that's the duties, because even if you go on our website, our old website is still listed all those functions as the clerk as a point of contact, even though the clerk did not handle those actual tasks. So it's probably based off of actual municipal code.
Correct. That's what I was trying to say, but I think Councilmember was saying that there's additional duties not listed that should be. Or did I say that wrong?
No, the other way.
Back the other way.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have something specific, but I agree with the city administrator. Those duties are sort of delegated to the city clerk under state law or local or municipal code. I realize that in our city, the elected city clerk doesn't actually do those. That's also the case in many other cities where they have hired staff that perform those duties, but they're still the responsibility of the city clerk. So I mean, you're technically correct. The city clerk doesn't come in here and handle public records requests and things like that, but that's sort of the city clerk's function in the city. So I'm not sure what you want us to do.
No, all I don't want to belabor this. I'll make it very quick. All I was trying to say is in Guadalupe, I know other cities that the city clerk has these responsibilities. All I'm saying is that here in Guadalupe, these responsibilities as listed in this document aren't performed by the city clerk. That
That's,
you can say they're delegated to other staff member and that's fine. I was just highlighting, that's all.
no, you're correct, but I guess the question was, do we move forward on this or there's corrections necessary to the purchasing guidelines? The only thing I thought that was a correction, other than a comment, and what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that awkward wording about the alcohol. I thought if you just remove the word lawful, I think it makes sense.
Mhm. Does it? Yeah, okay. She said, I agree.
But I didn't, I mean, if there's another correction that's required,
No,
and these aren't written in stone, we can come back and make corrections. If things turn up
Okay.
later, so. I guess the motion should be approve the purchasing guidelines with that one correction, the word lawful deleted from whatever page that was.
Is that good with you? Okay, anyone else on any of these items? Is there a motion to approve B, C, and E?
I'll make a motion to approve B, C, and E.
Just to clarify that, that would
with
also
correction.
include the correction
With the corrections.
on item E.
The corrections on item E.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, we go to management reports, city administrator.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and 2 residents. We appreciate you guys. With the park, with Las Mujeres, this week they're doing the fall test certifications on the playground, rubberized ball pad. They're putting in all the DG this week. It's gonna be around the recycled concrete blocks and We'll start seeing that kind of phase in. They're paving the parking lot next week. The following week, they'll stripe it. They've started installing, I think most of the gym equipment was installed today. The bocce ball court, they're working this week and into next week. They're gonna start putting pavers in this week and next week. The next couple weeks, they're gonna start doing the plants and trees and sod. So as people start to walk over the bridge, they'll really start to see it kind of come to life now. With Amtrak, they've resumed construction, I think, middle of last week. All the permits got cleared, so all that's kind of getting torn out, and they're starting to move on that. One thing I kind of want to touch on is the Royal Theater financial aspect. There's been a lot of stuff kind of going around that made it sound like the city was using grant funds to pay for city activities, and that was not the case. But just to kind of give an overview of kind of where we are with spending and maybe where things have kind of gone as far as the spending goes. To date, we spent $2.8 million on the project. We have about a $625,000 pending invoice that's kind of getting looked over right now. But that could take the total to 3.5, which would leave us 1.5 left. The big parts of this project have been about 1.6 to construction, a little over 700 to A&E, architecture and engineering, that kind of stuff. About 280 grand to grants and project management, grant management and project management. About 70 grand to legal and RDA council situations. Roughly 37 grand to bringing utilities and site services, and about 10 grand for environmental labor compliance. So that's all the, prevailing wage stuff, things of that nature. So that roughly totals about to 2.8 and some change. 83% has been spent towards construction, A&E design, technical work. 10% has gone to management of the project. And a little over 6% has gone to legal, utility, environmental, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we have 1.5, well, a little over 1.5. What's it? It's a math guy. 1.7 or 8 remaining, I guess, because it would be about 3.5 after that invoice. So currently, so that's where we're sitting on that project, and it is in the bank. It is not being used to pay electric bills or any other financial obligations that the city has. I guess we kind of missed the clarification on that. Maybe it just kind of came out or something, a little bit construed. But the question is not if we were using that to pay our bills. It was whether or not we were using enterprise to pay our bills. Not the same thing, two totally different funds. So we just wanted to throw a little bit of clarity out on that. And then with the public works, the engineering technician, Dayanara, she recovered almost 600 grand last month in reimbursements for all those various projects. Everybody else is pretty much business as usual. There seems to be a lot of groundskeeping going on. A lot of stuff breaking as far as sprinklers, and a lot of aeration of the fields going on. And then they've kind of been trying to keep up on East Main a lot better, and then trying to keep West Main a little bit more pedestrian friendly instead of the overgrown plants everywhere. The wastewater plant, the guys over there, they made contact with the plant in Morro Bay, and they were able to procure a pump for the grit removal system. So they've been getting that going, and kind of what that does is kind of helps separates like it is grit. So essentially everything that's not waste in your sewer system that's coming down. They kind of make it to where that stuff kind of gets eliminated before it hits the retention ponds, so that it helps with the biology and, you know, helps keep us in code and not get fined for not properly aerating. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Just a comment. Go ahead, Amelia.
I didn't quite hear what you said. You said Dianera recovered 600,000 without grants, or what was
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, that's from grants.
Oh, from grants. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, one of the issues was there was a late reimbursement request. And when they're late, then you don't get them back. And I just wanted to mention that we are speaking with CAC and EDA in terms of what's going on. So they're aware of what's happening. We have staff that are on every penny that's going on that project. So it's been covered and is handled. In fact, shortly we'll be meeting with them again. So
David,
go ahead.
I do have a quick question. What can council and the community expect moving forward? Kind of like a reconciliation of the project or just more information? What can we expect looking forward, maybe as a standalone agenda item?
So this week, I guess we started last week. But this week we're kind of putting something together, working with the construction manager on the project. For the theater, right? Okay, yeah. For the theater and working with the architects, AGD, to kind of build I don't want to say like a to-do list, but essentially we have to build out a punch list of items that we need to do in order to make the building not just safe, but the site safe as well. So we're looking at seismic retrofitting. We're looking at roofing, site improvements, just in general to make it safe. You know, things like, are we going to fence it? Are we going to put the little short fence like there was there before? You know, all these kind of various things. You know, we have things ordered. You know, we have the marquee ordered. We have lift station ordered. All these different things that were going to help when it got complete. And then trying to decide what avenue to take that will fit the budget, right? Because that's going to be our biggest constraint. It's not going to be whether or not, you know, something can or cannot be done. It's going to be, do we have the money to do it? So based on the numbers that we were kind of throwing around today, just estimates, we should have enough money to do quite a bit of buttoning up the building. And that's, you know, that's replacing the storefront to what we had. That's building a new back wall, that's sealing a new back wall, you know. And then trying to figure out how much money we're going to have after we retrofit that facility and what we're able to do with the new outbuilding, right? The way it's looking right now is that's probably just going to be a demo back down to the pad, because weather is going to destroy all that stuff. So if we can find out a way to squeeze a little bit more money and maybe wrap and roof that, you know, might leave it empty, but at least we would have the facility still there. But it's all going to come down to numbers. You know, we can play, kind of play around with, you know, if we do this, can we do that? Those kind of scenarios. But realistically, it's going to come down to what the contractor costs will be. And that's going to be the defining factor. So, you know, we'll have some kind of, I would say like an efficient punch list kind of set up probably before the next council meeting. And instead of discussing project progress, it'll kind of be, these are the things that we kind of have laid out already. This is the estimated cost, you know, the kind of feedback we're getting back from the contractors. One thing that we discussed today was maybe trying to redo the front facade. Because if we don't do the front facade, we can't put the new marquee on. New marquee has been bought. Otherwise it just gets stored. So we're trying to figure out ways to do that. but we don't know how much that's gonna cost. You know, if it could be 200 grand, it could be 50 grand, you know, it just depends on how in-depth we have to go. Because just like everything else, as soon as we tear into that, I assume we're gonna find something that we're not expecting. And then we're gonna have to retrofit all that to code and then go from there again. So one thing we don't want to do is tear into that if we can use what we have, at least for the meantime, you know. So but we're looking into it. You know, we got the pros on it. You know, we got, you know, Filippini, they've been great to work with as far as construction management. We got AGD as our architect, our A&E and our structural and everything. And then ICOF design, you know, I mean, that's who we use for our city engineer anyway. So we're getting good, thoroughly thought out roadmaps before we proceed. Because I would hate to just jump into this and say, hey, we have $1 million, fix what you can, and then get out. And then, you know, something could have been more cost effective and we could have gone further with the work versus stop short of what could have happened, right? You know, the contractor could come back and $1.5 million might finish the actual theater portion itself. And then we're left with no site improvements or something like that, that we have to try to figure out funding for later in the future, which would benefit the city better, right? But the way it's going to look right now, even if we secure and safe, make safe the actual facility, there's probably still not going to be any foundation inside. You know, it's all footers and dugout in the center. So there's going to be some things that just don't get done. But if we can at least get it to a safe space, maybe we can get a private investor to come in. You know, if a private investor is looking at it and they see that it's retrofitted and things like that, you know, you don't get stuck with the far western situation where you just have a building that nobody wants to take over. So if we could at least get it that far, then maybe we have hopes of actually moving that forward as a performing arts center.
Perfect. Thank you. When that list is made available to council, can we have some copies as well for the community?
Yeah.
When I'm sure you're going to present that to council, but I just want to make sure there's enough copies for everyone. So they're able to read it. I wish I had those numbers for the Royal Theater. I wasn't able to write it all down, but I'm sure you could share it out afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yes.
Before we open it to the public, is there any questions of David on 7? Any item, A's, B, C, D? No questions? Mrs. Romero, you had several questions?
No, I want to thank David for that fantastic presentation. And I really do appreciate having facts. Number one, Facebook has been all a Twitter about a variety of things, and I have to the extent that I'm capable of stating that because of what I've heard here about the Royal Theater and taking it at face value, that those funds have not been supplanted for day-to-day operating expenses. So I have been your cheerleader in that regard. I think it's really important that the city does make wise decisions now in how they button this building up, because you accepted taxpayer dollars from across this nation. You've got, you know, a local and a federal grant, and you want your funders to realize that your pause in doing this did not waste their money. I think it's really important that a very responsible button up happen, because the Royal Theater will get done one of these days, but it will be done not on the backs of police and fire and losing staff in the city going defunct. So I think that you've got a phenomenal team. I work in this space. I am a land use consultant, and I have worked in this space for 25 years. I know a thing or two about project management and team management. I did also want to comment on the planning and building report. And I just want to say that those are great examples of how you have transparency and you show productivity. If only other jurisdictions were moving permits through their process the way that the city of Guadalupe is, it would be a lot better place out there. You guys put the county of Santa Barbara to shame when it comes to processing permits. So while I'm glad to come up here and tell you what you're doing wrong, I'm also very glad to come up here and say that I see some things that are going well. And so kudos to Mr. Apple and to the building team. They are doing a very good job. But again, I hope that when Los Mujeres Park opens, that our young people take better care of it than they did when the Boys and Girls Club opened. And I think there has to be consequences for bad behavior. And if there's a way to get the kids to understand that the city can't afford to constantly be painting over their artwork or whatever it is they end up doing, they've got to take care of things if they want nice things. And if they can't take care of it, then they don't have access to nice things. So I'm really hoping that there will be some appreciation for the effort you all have put forward to have a very comprehensive, nice park amenity for the kids to use, because that's all I've heard from back when I was a recreation commissioner when I first moved here. There's nothing for the kids to do, nothing for the kids to do. Well, they're going to have something to do, and one of that should be taking care of what you've given them.
That's my egg timer, not my garage note. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Please.
I forgot to touch on the Las Mujeres. We are looking at a ribbon cutting on September 4th. I think this should be Labor Day weekend. Right? Yeah, 9/4.
Yep.
At 12 noon. So if we could get council's input on what they think about that.
It's good. We need to.
Okay,
I have a question. Is that in collaboration with the Parks and Recreation Commission?
that will be all hands on deck.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Just make sure the skateboarders go right through that ribbon.
Oh, hey, I'm sure we could arrange that. One thing to note, when we do that, we will do the like ribbon cutting. And then after the ribbon cutting, we're gonna put cyclone fence around the grass area, because that's the part we need to keep
Smooth,
people
yeah.
off. But the basketball court, the skate park, yeah, playground equipment, all that stuff will be open.
All right, any further questions or comments? We'll go to item 8, Director of Public Safety.
I have a quick question. I see Mr. Apal on. Is he going to present?
No, he was in case you guys pulled item D in the consent calendar.
Okay, just want to make sure he can head out if needed.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah,
can,
could
you
stay
can,
there,
you,
Thank
you can
Mr.
leave,
Apal.
Larry. Thank you.
Go barbecue. Chief.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council,
Yes, sir.
staff, citizens. I already submitted the public director's report. Just highlights. You could see where our citations for the last month, that's included. So this gives a more transparent as far as where our activity is, as far as in the area of citations. On fire department, just keep an update. Right now, we have assisted with 32 fire insurance letters that we have sent out when community members have contacted us concerning their insurance companies. So still letting everybody know that we're in the favorable aspect of our ISO rating for fire insurance. It's just a matter of the insurance companies needing to step up on that. As far as medical director, I interviewed 2, and right now they have both declined to assist us. So I'll be going back to the Marion Hospital Board and seeing where we could further try to find medical directors that will be able to
Excuse me,
assist
Chief, can you
us.
explain that to council?
Yes,
We don't need a doctor, but we need the
yeah.
doctor to connect with.
What we usually do with our fire department, because they're trained to use certain medicines. We have to work under the license of a official medical doctor for us to be able to purchase certain types of medicines that our fire department can administer in the field. We used to have a doctor with the CDC or CHC, but he retired, no longer doing that. So right now I'm currently interviewing, looking for another medical doctor that we could work underneath their license for us to be able to purchase medicines for us to administer on medical calls. Code compliance, You could see where our current activity is for at least the last month, where some of those are and how many are in progress or outstanding. You see it also in the report, you see our fireworks enforcement. That's kind of going back and forth. The current issue that we're having is if someone wants to contest their citation, they have to put all the funds up of the violation that they're being accused of, or able to submit paperwork saying that that they have an issue that they cannot afford this. As far as I know right now, I have not, and that goes to our planning director to see that. I have not been notified yet of anyone who has been approved for that, but some monies have been coming in. So right now we're in the process of going to having hearings if those come available. And then emergency preparedness. I've have a date with the Boys and Girls Club on August 25th. I'll be doing emergency preparedness training program at the Boys and Girls Club. We're trying to get more people in the community other than just the people there at the Boys and Girls Club. And also working with the Senior Center, September 2nd. I'll be doing a emergency preparedness training directed just for seniors. And then we'll be seeing if there'll be more interest throughout the community for further training. That is my report at this time, unless there's questions.
Oops. The emergency prep at Senior Center, you said the 2nd, but what time?
From 10 to 11. They want right before lunch.
Okay.
I do have a question in regards to the fire insurance. I did not hear at the beginning clarification on why you're still issuing these letters. Can you please clarify again? My apologies. I know that I've been working on it a lot. I've heard a lot from residents on how they're having to pay an increase. And so I also did see, oh, go ahead, please. I'm so sorry. Can you just clarify what was said? Why are we still writing these letters?
The issue is there's several insurance companies when people are insured, and they're going by old information of what their fire rating is. That has been corrected with the representative for the ISO rating. We are now in compliance, but the insurance companies don't have that information or report, or it's either being delayed. So what we're doing to try to expedite to get their insurance rates back down, they bring me their information of whatever their new rate is, and I contact their insurance company and I give them what the rating is. It's usually they're asking, the misinformation is that there is no fire department near their homes, or it's more than 5 miles. Our city is only 1.4 miles. So
Okay.
I don't
Just
know where
not
they
totally,
got that information from.
just feels like very redundant if you already had that ISO rating. I know at the state level, there's like an insurance complaint button that I think that we really should be directing individuals to submit a complaint against their insurance so they can properly be navigated as to what is going on through their insurance. It just sounds like something is not right with this issue.
Right. And the biggest thing is these insurance companies do not have to adhere to the ISO rating. And that's unfair to the applicant.
And I think recently we received an email from a resident in Guadalupe who shared their success when they submitted a complaint. And so I think in order for residents to see that one, they're going to have to submit a complaint against their insurance and have the state look over that.
Yes. And we have our, well, we've kind of semi-rolled out our new website. And so we can put that information on our website for those who may look at it. about contacting the state insurance commissioner.
'Cause
So-
it seems like
You're right.
they were getting that wraparound service where they made sure that they closed the loop. And I think that's what everyone does. I don't know if you writing letters is really going to do justice. And, that we're kind of working with a, sensitive budget. And so I want to make sure that your time is allocated to the city. And so if you do need help in regards to that
I'll reach out.
insurance, please reach out on my work email, and I would be happy to send you any information that you need.
Okay, no, that would be a big help because yes, I'm writing a lot of letters. Thank you.
Any further questions, Chief?
I do have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thursday is back to school. What are you guys' plans? Going back into the community, we know that the new junior high is opening up at 2 different times. Zero period is at 7:40. It now is starting, I think, first period is at 8:40. What does that look like for your staff?
Well, I'm trying to keep in the right frame of mind. I appreciate saying what's it look like for your staff, but would be realistic. What's it look like for Chief Cash? I'll be back out on Highway 1 or Main Street. So I'll be there. Fire department right now, we got volunteers. They're going to be doing the high five back to school at the middle school. So they'll be stationed down there. And we're trying to put together, they want to do a drone program for the middle school and the junior high to get the kids more in tune to science and math. So our newly commissioned drone officers are doing that, but we'll be back on the streets for at least the first couple of weeks. And also, I'd like to thank Ms. Romero. We talked about the helmets on the not the skateboarders, but the electric scooters, all the motorized things with the schools right now. We're working with them is they will seize the scooters when the kids come to school that do not have a helmet, and also we'll be enforcing them. But then too, we'll be giving free Slurpee tickets to the ones who do have helmets. I do have one donation of $1,000 as far as to try to buy helmets, but I'm still trying to work with Walmart to get a deal because I'm trying to stretch that money as best as possible for kids who don't have helmets. So we're working with the helmets. We're trying to do the enforcement on the scooters. We're doing the high five for the kids coming back, and we'll be trying to do as much enforcement at the schools, at the crosswalks with the new school. So we've got a full plate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Any further questions, Chief? Mr. Romero, you had a question at 8A or comments?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I really appreciated the reporting that Chief Cash produced for this report because it does give a better picture of where the issue areas are in town. And I know that people are not happy when they get tickets. And again, the keyboard warriors are out there complaining about their fireworks fines. And it's real simple. If you don't want a speeding ticket, you don't want a ticket for fireworks, then don't break the law. It's super simple. And you see some real patterns in the type of citations that are being issued where people have just gotten very lazy about how they park and the rules they choose to break. And I think that we kind of have a bit of a culture here where people just aren't all that excited about the rules. And I think that, again, leading by example and, the whole e-bike thing, it is out of hand, and the little gas-powered little dune buggy things that are low to the ground, I mean, they go zipping around the streets, and, we've been fortunate. No one's been killed yet. But if you can afford an e-bike or an e-scooter for your kid, you can afford a helmet. And I don't think that, we have to participate in this perpetual situation where we're always providing resources. If you can afford to buy illegal fireworks, then you must be able to afford the fine. I mean, that should be an automatic non-eligible for waiving of a fine. And there's a real misconception online in Facebook. Somehow people think that the city's like making their budget on these tickets, and that's really not the case. I believe our police department would rather be doing other type of law enforcement activities than some of these basic things that people should be able to understand and participate in. So, I just want to say thank you to the chief. I know that it's a thankless job in law enforcement. And, when there's something that I think is wrong, I'll be back here to tell him that too. But I guess the only thing I did see that was a little concerning with the loss of the airport contract is that somehow the city of Santa Maria was 30 to 37% less costly than us. I think you guys need to look at that a little bit and consider how again, administrative overhead, there are legally mandated percentages that are acceptable and allowable. I mean, in some ways, it's probably best to have our officers back here, working. But I do know from my relationships at the airport that their professionalism at the airport was definitely very much appreciated. And I've heard a lot of good comments about the time that Guadalupe PD spent there. So, keep up the good work. And thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go to item 9, future agenda items. Any requests to
My,
take that up?
my only question is for the vacant commercial building. I know that we passed the August. Mr. Cinca,
It's just a coincidence because I didn't do this because I expected your question, but today I actually started work on that project and realized that I could have started part of it sooner than now. The first part is an ordinance amendment to remove language tying the registration fee to gross square footage of building size. I've had a problem with that legally because the fee has to be no more than the cost of the service. So we move forward with the ordinance change, and then when that becomes effective, we can bring a resolution to the council to adjust the fee for full cost recovery. So that's moving forward. You'll have it on the next agenda, the ordinance amendment.
okay, thank you.
Any further?
Or just,
Go ahead, please. Thank you.
it might be maybe I should have asked it during David's section, but are we able to get an update on the Guadalupe Greens Festival, or at least the community? Not right now, but like maybe next meeting.
It was canceled.
Oh, it was canceled. Am I not getting emails?
It was on Facebook or Instagram or one of them things. That's
Oh,
that's how we found
So
it.
they canceled it.
Yeah, it got picked up at Dairy Creek and Slow.
Oh, well, okay. That's good, right? So that could be good. It could be bad. Okay, cool. But I did also, just on a side note, I didn't get any emails from you regarding that. I have a terrible email situation.
I mean, I didn't even post it because it was all over social media for 2 weeks before I found out about it.
Avoiding social media. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any future agenda items?
Can we, like Ms. Romero said, can we get some kind of information on the capital campaign, what was donated so far and stuff like that from
I
Tom?
mean, I think Eli could probably tell you right now how much has been donated.
Mr. Mayor, council members, staff members of the public, just a quick update, I think, and I'll just pull it up here because
I couldn't get it to open. I tried earlier.
just in summary, for the Royal Theater specifically, it's 80,270, and then capital campaign, which is obviously still the Royal Theater, another 3,326 and 30 cents. Did you want to go into further detail?
It's all getting returned, so I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we could try to throw a page in the agenda
That would be great.
next
I'll get it returned.
I think, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And we've been in communication. I see Robert's in the audience, gathering names of donors. I know Tom Roddenberry has been also active in getting us names as well. We also have to sit with the committee and perhaps vote on making sure that there's a process to get that money back to folks from the committee as well. So
Okay, everything good here? We'll go to item 10, announcements, council activity committee reports. Mr. Diaz?
Just a couple things. I attended the Escalante Meadow first year anniversary, where Congressman Carbajal spoke, as did the mayor and as did Councilmember Hernandez. And it was very nice. And the Escalante family was there speaking as well. So that was very nice. And then I participated in the food bank again this month. Seemed to be a little more than prior months.
193.
Okay, that's it.
I attended the MyCops 25th year anniversary, the library open house. The Junior Giants had a celebration as well for the end of the year.
Gene?
Like Councilmember Hernandez said, school starts back up Thursday. A lot of different times, should kind of help ease a lot of the congestion through the school year. Just I know the first 2 days will be the hectic part.
I also attended the library open house. Steve spoke and we thanked him for that. I had to cut him off.
Just dovetail into the Junior Giants, we, there was about $17,000 that was collected toward fixing the diamond. Every Monday, it's drug, and when necessary, we will line it if they start playing again. So anybody can use the field. It's not, if they want to go out there and practice, do their thing, that's not a problem. If they want to have something formal, they need to go through the recreation department, but it's open to the public, and it's in pretty good shape. On August 6th, like Amelia mentioned, there was 193 participants. And the food bank has asked, Greg Hitch is director of network partnerships, asked us to look to actually add a second or in another Saturday food bank operation in the later afternoons, because that's when most people get out of work. So one of the areas that we looked at was the Veterans Building, and talking with 982, the Vietnam veterans, that's not a problem. So it's a matter of getting people that will do a Saturday. City staff hasn't volunteered yet, but I think we're working on it. Okay. So that's ongoing. So we'll be looking. You could call Greg Hitch at 805-335-3199 for more information, or you can contact me. There's 2 golf fundraisers for local veterans. Mid-Coast Veterans Alliance is September 9th at Rancho Mirror Golf Course. That's there's 3 Vietnam groups, 2 in Guadalupe area and 1 in the LA area that relate to Guadalupe folks. So that's a fundraiser for scholarships that Mid-Coast Veterans Alliance runs. Now you can contact Rudy Alfaro at 805-621-3772 if you'd like to participate. The second golf tournament is Guadalupe Vietnam Veterans of America Post 982, which is a Guadalupe group. They are combining with Welcome Home Military Heroes and Post 982, and that's, you can call DEEC. No, you can call not DEEC, but call for the information at 805-242-0536, and then hit 1, and it'll give you the additional information. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Fish and Game Commission will be discussing the marine protected area off Point Sal, and the issue is to convince Fish and Game to approve that. The contact individual is Miss Isabella Sullivan. I think they've been here. She can be reached at ISULLIVAN@NRDC.org, the National Resources Defense Council. The city has been supporting that MPH, and I know that it's on that's on Zoom tomorrow. And then if anybody would want to go, and maybe you'd like to go, the Mayor's Ball is October 10th, 2026. That's Northern Santa Barbara County United Way Mayor's Ball is scheduled every year. I think Phil, are you still involved with it?
No, Mr. Mayor, I'm not on that board anymore.
Okay, well, okay. Anyway,
I would go, but I'm gonna be I'm gonna be out of town.
well, you could leave your $250 per ticket. And that's gonna be held at the Radisson. And then all proceeds will help provide free books, parenting support and children's savings accounts to help kids in their kindergarten and ready to learn. That's all I had. Sure.
On the second food bank you're talking about with the appropriate number of volunteers, it
Mhm.
would start soon.
No, it'll start January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
And a similar format?
no, the format now is we get the vegetables and the cans and we pack it.
Right.
I think at the school, and Jean may correct me, they have paper bags that are given out at the school.
Yeah, they box everything.
That's already
Like,
boxed.
They put up, like they'll have volunteers, like today they had the food bank today.
Right.
And what they do is they go through it, they'll put it all bag like, so it's like, okay, how much do we have of this? How much do we have of that? Okay, we can give X amount of this, and then they'll put it together and then they hand them.
They do a couple hundred, at least.
Yeah,
a
it's like
couple hundred.
250.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
quite a bit. But they want to hit the rate of the poverty level here in town is where food bank says they need to get more food out. So it's an important thing, and it'll be nice to get some volunteers to help with that. Is there a motion to adjourn? Jean,
No motion to adjourn.
your second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you all. Thanks.